Welcome to the Featured Anime Podcast. I'm your host, Jack.
And I'm Rick.
And today we're talking about Arifureta from Commonplace to World's Strongest.
Yeah, I really butchered the name that last time I said it, so thank you for taking the bullet for me on that one.
It's all good, man. So this came out pretty recently in relative when we're recording this. It came out in July 2019 and it ran all the way through October 2019. And it was 13 episodes long with the genres of action, adventure, fantasy, and harem. What's unusual about this one, though, is that instead of it having just one studio, it actually had two. It had Asread and White Fox for the studios.
Huh. Didn't know any of that. I just assumed it was of the same producer that did, what was that other really, really gruesome one that, Goblin Slayer. I assumed it was a similar producer to them.
Actually, believe so. Yeah. A couple of the producers that produced Goblin Slayer also produced this one.
Oh, okay.
So ATX and Bushiroad both were producers on both of them. What's interesting about this one, though, is it had the producers Sony Music Communications and Bandai Namco Arts.
Really?
Yes.
You think they're going to try to turn this into a game?
No, I don't think so, because Bandai also produced one of your top favorites.
Yes, they did.
In another, I've been reincarnated in another world as a slime.
They've also made that into a game.
Yes, that I know. They've actually produced several others, or helped produce several others as well. Some of which have been turned into games, some of which have not.
Dude, could you imagine if they turned this into a game?
That'd be interesting.
I would totally play this in MMORPG style for the console and computer. Dude, could you imagine?
That would be interesting. Although at the same time, I feel like it would be it'd be difficult to do. Don't get me wrong. I mean, like, I feel like you'd be really let down in how it's done, no matter what.
Well, they'd have to do a Final Fantasy version of it. I mean, to be perfectly honest, you'd have to go that route. Final Fantasy's kind of already doing that, so
I guess.
Either way, it's a great premise.
Well, one of the things about this anime, right? Okay, so it starts off with kind of flashbacks and then to current, and then flashback to current. The main protagonist, the main character, one of the main characters is Hajime. And Hajime starts off with him basically being betrayed and being thrown down into this abyss because they're in this labyrinth that's been set there by peoples from centuries before. And then it flashes back to when they first arrived there. Now, this is one of the things that I actually have a problem with right off the bat. They don't give you context for the whole thing. You kind of have to piece it together. And if you watch the opening credits, this is the interesting thing. If you watch the opening credits, it kind of helps fill in the gaps in that this is an isekai and that Hajime and all his other classmates and his teacher were all actually transported to this world. So
it looks like they're kind of rather violently transported by what the building looks like. So
but that's the interesting thing, right? Normally when it's an isekai, it's like one person, it's a couple of people. It's not an entire classroom with a teacher. And it's usually not a violent endeavor either. It doesn't just destroy the classroom or anything like that. It just, transported everyone. And that's one of the unique aspects of this. And we actually had talked about this a little bit more a couple of days ago, is that this really is reminiscent or kind of really has the same feel in the sense that Shield Hero has, in that the main character, the main protagonist, Hajime, is betrayed by one of his students, or not his students, but one of his fellow students, one of his classmates.
And it's one of those things that I'm very happy you don't find out what really happened for a while. It's one of the more suspenseful portions of the whole thing. As a viewer, it's very obvious who did it, but you don't know why until much later.
Yeah. And by the time he actually gets out of there, he doesn't care about them. He's very bitter, very angry towards them because of what happened. And not so much that he's angry and bitter towards everyone there. He just doesn't care.
Yeah. Now, the cool part in this particular part of the anime, this I actually read up on the manga and I watched a few videos aside from here explaining what happened. Dude, I don't think they show this in enough detail. Granted, it's an episode they have to get through. He was down there, so he gets thrown down into this abyss, and he sees a rabbit, and he's like, "Oh, I thought they're supposed to get tougher as you go down." This rabbit takes out a freaking wolf.
No, not just one wolf. It takes out a couple of wolves, and then the rabbit that just took out the wolves gets taken out by the bear that's down there.
Bear. It's freaking awesome. And then
the bear starts attacking him, takes out his arm, and to traumatize and taunt him, picks up the arm that he just sliced off of Hajime and eats it in front of him. Yeah, and they kind of mirror that a little bit. But I actually read the beginning of the manga because I was a little confused as to what the hell was going on. And one of the things that they really didn't go into detail about and how he actually goes from brunette to white hair and having his physical features buffed. And this is the other thing I find really interesting and I like about this is one of the characters that actually gets transported into the world. Everyone reveres him as a hero because that's his class and his stats are ridiculous, but he doesn't act like it. And he doesn't have the ability to make those tough decisions. Hajime, who was given the lowest, most common class, which is
the weakest synergy.
Also the weakest, which is also the alternate name for this from common job class to the strongest in the world.
I didn't know that.
Yep. What ends up happening is because he was betrayed and down there, he had to study and really understand the world. And he also has language conceptualization, I think, as well as one of his power.
Yep. Yeah.
And so he's able to understand the world more than any of his other classmates, I would say.
I don't know, because I think language conception, whatever it is, I think that's common because when you look at other people reading their stuff, it's also part of their perks, I guess. My little 2 cents as far as that goes is in the manga, he's down there for weeks with an arm that was chopped off, and he basically synergies himself a hole to try to get away from this bear. And by dumb luck or by design, you just don't know, he gets underneath basically a stone that gives him life. It heals him, but it doesn't make him full and it doesn't cure his thirst.
Right. And because all that stone is it's just pure mana. And one of the things I wish they went into more detail about in the anime is while he's down there, because he eats the monster's meat and you can't eat monster meat because of the mana in it, it literally tears you apart cell by cell. While he's eating it, what causes this physical transformation is because he's drinking the holy water, which is repairing the cells as fast as it's being damaged.
Some Deadpool shit here.
Exactly. Well, because of that, though, that first initial point is it gives him a alternate ability, Iron Stomach, which allows him to be able to ingest monster meat from that point on and gain power through it. So now he's gaining levels and he's becoming stronger than even the other guy who is supposed to be the strongest.
What's really cool to me, and I found this out a little bit later, a little earlier this week. When you see their level, it's not a set level for everyone, 1 to 100, 1 to 1,000. No, this is your personal, your level 1 to your level 100. You max out at level 100. My 100 is different than your 100. Because if you'll notice, his level 8 was like a 400 in each stat thing, or 600. And the hero's level 15 was only 300.
Right. But the reason for that is because he ate monster meat. And it boosted him and it boosted his level and it changed everything for him too, which is a very unique perspective. Instead of him coming into the world and him being the strongest through just because that's how it's supposed to be. He's the strongest because he got thrown into this really screwed up situation and he was forced to try and overcome and adapt it. And through sheer luck, design, what have you, he was able to overcome it and become the strongest.
Now, what I found was kind of interesting is you know how he was going through the cell breakdown and stuff like that when he ate the meat? What they don't go through in the anime as much as they technically could. This happens every single time he eats new meat. Like it doesn't get easier according to what the manga was showing.
I mean, like it does and it doesn't. I mean, like he doesn't have the same physical reaction anymore. So he's actually, because he's made it a part of himself and because he has the iron stomach, he's now able to still eat it and not go through that pain. It
still does hurt him according to the manga, though.
It does still hurt him. I'm not saying it doesn't. It still does hurt him. I mean, like you can even see it still hurts him a little bit, but he's able to eat it and continue to eat it and still gain power through it as long as it's something that he hasn't already eaten and it's stronger than him.
What I thought was kind of cool. They don't show this in the anime, so I don't know if this is true or not. But I think he took that stone that he found originally and he just kept it with him throughout this old trip because he has this seemingly never-ending supply of holy water vials attached to him. And I thought it was kind of cool. He was able to, after he ate that meat, he was able to identify what rocks do what minerals do what. He just, as you said, he unlocked his other abilities. But he's like, hey, this is basically gunpowder. Let me synergize this into this metal capsule. Hey, this rock is pretty hard. This is going to be the tip of the bullet. And he makes himself a gun that he names Donner. Shit's hilarious.
It's good. It's hilarious. Now the total course over the whole anime, only about 5 months actually go by over the whole course from beginning to end for the anime.
Yeah, and 2 of them are when he's resting. So he gained a shit ton of abilities in a short amount of time. And I liked his mentality. He broke from being I'm going to help everyone to you're either my enemy or you're not. And this really shows, in my opinion, when he meets his first companion.
Yes,
who happens to be like a 300 or 400-year-old vampire who looks like a kid because she's immortal.
Yue.
Yeah, and it was pretty awesome. She's super powerful, I might add.
Yes.
But when he first meets her, she goes, "Hey, could you help me?" He goes, no. And she goes, "Wait, no." And then she goes, "I've been betrayed." And he's like, "Oh, crap."
Yep. Because he knows exactly how that is. And it's at that point, that's when they really start connecting to, I mean, like, aside from the fact that she keeps feeding on him and raping him. I mean, like, that's what I'm assuming is happening because she's come onto him and several times and is always licking her lips and everything. So, I mean, like, they eventually developed this love relationship. I mean, like, granted, I'm pretty sure she's hypnotizing him and forcing him to love her, but whatever.
Stockholm syndrome.
Exactly.
You're trapped with me. I'm your best choice.
Exactly. And then, by himself and with Yue, he actually clears the whole dungeon, which is supposed to be over 100 levels, and defeats the big bad boss with the help of her. Barely, but he does.
I do have a theory, and I want your opinion on this. Now, this is something I spoke to my girlfriend about, and she thought it was a unique idea. You know how everyone says they have 100 levels, right? Not 100. Sorry, the labyrinth has 100 levels down, 100 floors down. Mm-hmm. When you look at him, they got transported to the 65th floor. Now, in theory, there's only supposed to be another 45? No, 35 floors.
Right.
He went 100 floors by himself. And when you see him, he goes, "Floor 1, the abyss." Wouldn't it be awesome if the labyrinth was constructed in such a way there is no such thing as a shortcut? You can jump down to whatever, but you can't, unless you've already reached that level, you can't jump to another one. So when they got teleported to the 65th floor and he fell down, he got reset to floor number 1, but in the abyss, and he had to go down another 100 floors.
That'd be interesting. I'd actually have to read into that because I know that the labyrinths are all unique and different across the board. Also, what helps support her theory is that when you're looking at it and they're showing it, like when he's going down the floors, they see 29th floor.
Yeah.
For him.
No, that was my theory for I said that to her.
No, I'm saying what helps support it is because he goes down, they don't say 29th floor, but they like at the lowest point they say 29th floor and then he keeps going down. So
yeah. But it says into the abyss, floor 1, into the abyss. And he's like, into the abyss, floor 100.
Yeah.
Whereas with the other people, they don't really ever say into the abyss, but they somehow, by the end of their story, reach his final floor. Well, not reach his final floor. They reach a floor that he can get to stupidly easy.
Yeah. Yeah. And
so
honestly, he does reach that floor stupidly easy, and it really surprises his classmates, and they don't even believe that he's alive. One of the girls that actually still believed he was alive because she had to see if he was dead or not with her own eyes was Kaori. And it's because she actually loved him, and she felt in her bones, she felt in her heart that he was actually still alive, and she didn't want to abandon him. Who ultimately at the end of the anime goes with him after he saves them, because by showing off his total badassery across the board. Yeah. And one of the other things is Hajime tells one of the student that's the quote unquote hero. He says, you don't have what it takes. You didn't make the tough call. And the demons were actually, who's the other race in this world, actually pointed this out, because she actually had someone that they love, and the hero can't kill someone or at least severely injure someone that has someone else that they love. He can't push through that third wall.
That was a very awkward fight. But
it was.
To get to that fight, he makes it to the bottom labyrinth, and you find out that the labyrinth was created by mavericks, or liberators, as they were originally called, right? Each of them have a unique ability, and whoever makes it to their final floor, each maverick will give them their own magic in hopes that they'll defeat the evil god. And they give a true history of the world rather than a history that was taught by the religion. Long story short, the god is not a benevolent being. He's a very evil being who just simply toys with everything because he wants to. He instigates shit between the three races, the demons, humans, and beastmen.
Demi-humans.
I thought it was beast humans. That's what the
beastmen, but yeah, no, they're technically called demi-humans.
Oh, okay.
Because they have the appearance of humans with the exception of some animal features. They can't manipulate any magic either.
Okay. I can see that. And the beasts actually can manipulate magic, which is why when Hajime ate stuff, he earned that ability.
Exactly.
Side note, I realize I probably should have mentioned this sooner. There is not the reason that the demon or the beast meat is poisonous is because it doesn't hold blood. It holds mana.
Right. And
humans cannot consume mana directly, which is where the iron stomach feature comes in.
Exactly. Yeah. It makes it so that way he can consume it.
I apologize that I completely blanked on that earlier.
No, it's all good. As when he finally actually does make it all the way through the end of the labyrinth and he learns the true history of it. That's where he actually spends his time building an arsenal. He builds an arm for himself because, he needs two arms. And the magic that he had received from the magic is creation magic. Yeah.
So with creation magic, you can make things called artifacts, which essentially is, I guess, things other people can use.
It's so the status plates and things like that, that's a type of artifact. But normally artifacts, the more rare ones, can't be created or recreated because there's no knowledge in how they are created, with the exception of that one thing where they're kind of they're really common. They're easy to replicate.
Yeah. So what he earned from the bottom one was simply anything he thinks of, boom, he can make it. And so he made a ring that I would say, I don't know for sure, but I believe his ring he's able to focus his ability and generate things on a much faster level.
Call into existence something that he's already created is what I would assume.
Yeah, that would make sense. Like a programming type thing.
He already created it. Why would he need to go through the process of recreating it every single time? Just call out what he's already created. Although at the same time, because he is able to create and make all these materials at any point in time, he has creation magic. Who's to say he's not creating holy water at the same time?
That'd be kind of cool. I didn't even think about that. That'd be kind of badass.
On his journey, he also picks up a few other characters. Aside from Kaori at the very end, he picks up Shie, which is a demi-human, and she's part bunny, part human, and they're actually looked down upon. They're
deemed as inferior.
Yeah. exactly, deemed as inferior. He also runs across a dragonborn race, which everyone thought to have been extinct, but they're not. Although she's the sadist of the group.
Easily, yeah. So
not because she wanted to be either. I mean, like, it just turned out that way through certain means. I will leave that to your all's imagination so that way you can watch it and have some interesting viewpoints on that.
I don't want to talk about it though. Like, that was an awesome fight.
The fight was awesome great. The ending is what turns her into a sadist.
Yeah, the ending of the fight. But the ending of the fight, in my personal opinion, I've never seen that before in any anime I've ever come across.
Neither have I.
It's the small details that matter the most, you know?
Exactly.
But to backtrack to the bunny chick, what was kind of cool about this whole thing, about that scenario, what makes her the bunny special, the demi-human bunny special, is the fact that she has an ability known as foresight, which is something monsters you typically get. Unfortunately, because she does have monster abilities, she was looked down upon even in the demi-human community, and her family or clan was kicked out of their safe haven because they did not abandon her.
Yeah.
That said, I thought it was kind of awesome how Hajime, sorry, came through, and you have this group of bunnies who are basically food for everything. And he goes, they're like, will you help us? You're our savior. He goes, I'm nobody's savior. You're not my friend. You're not really worth anything to me as you are right now. You need to. And they're like, well, can you teach us? He goes, sure. And then he's like, you're being distracted by flowers. You're being super happy over stuff that doesn't matter. Tell you what, you go kill something or I'm going to kill you. Yep. And they're like, oh crap. And like, I don't have no idea how much time had passed, but they've definitely leveled up in the little time skip they had. Yeah. To the point where the next time you see the bunnies, not only are their voices different, their bodies are like rock hard, and you're like, holy crap, what happened to all these bodybuilders? And they're like, hey boss, we finally killed that thing you wanted us to kill. And he looks over and he's like, I just asked for one. Why are there 50 here? And they're like, well, we did kill one, and the others kind of got lippy, so we decided to take them all out. Kill or be killed, right? Yeah. Oh god.
Yeah, and that's really kind of what he does. He progresses through the story. He helps people out, not willingly, and if he does it willingly, it's because he's going to be gaining something out of it, or because he truly at a couple points really does care.
And again, you just saying that again mirrors Shield Hero. Like, I didn't see that until you said it, but in the same vein, the same character, I guess, personality, it makes sense why this should be way more popular than
what it is.
Me barely hearing about it.
Yeah. I mean, like the main reason why I feel like this really didn't catch on in terms of popularity is because it doesn't do a great job in catching you up as to what's going on. And for the first couple of episodes, it does a lot of back and forth and time skips. 9 days prior, let's catch you up. 8 days prior, catch you up. 7 days prior. And it does that for the first few episodes. And that's something that really kind of threw me off and didn't really jive well with me. I wish it would have like flowed a lot better, or it should have been like maybe a 24 episode and explain in more detail why they're at that world, what's actually going on, and show them actually getting teleported to the world and show the dynamics of what's going on with everyone. And they kind of graze the surface of that a little bit, but they actually don't go into the details about it. And I think that was really lost on this as a whole.
See, that's kind of why I was intrigued by it to begin with.
I mean, like, it's great, but
they didn't go into extreme detail. I hope they do. Don't get me wrong. I hope there's a season 2. From what we've talked about before, it's in the works. But
the thing is they're counting on you continually watching the opening credits, so that way you are. I mean, like, that's honestly what they do for the part of the opening credits is they retell the story of them being summoned into that world without it actually ever having been a part of the anime.
True.
And
well, one of the things I didn't really like, I mean, yes, that it was slightly annoying, but the fact in the very beginning, there was such action, such fast pace, I got to catch up, that I didn't mind it too much. But after he had passed the first dungeon, the first labyrinth, he went to the second one. And I've just found that to be annoying. It wasn't even...
It wasn't that it was even challenging for him. It was just kind of there. And that's one of the things that I also feel like a lot of people got lost on, is that he wasn't really enduring or entering any hardships at that point. Forward. Yeah.
Even after that, because one of the biggest, oh God, we're in danger. After they got out of that labyrinth, there was like 60,000 monsters going to assault the thing. And you come to find out that a few of the students turned bad.
Just one of them, not even a few of them, just one of them.
Well, I figured it was two. One of them with the whole demon army and the other one as a betrayal.
Yeah. He's still, the one with the betrayal is still with everyone. He's just completely off his rocker. But the one with the betrayal as well. But one of the things I do find interesting, though, that I kind of like is all the students aren't all powerful. All the students aren't still alive.
Yeah. Yeah. Some of them, unfortunately, didn't make it. But so my biggest issue is once he got out of that initial labyrinth, yes, the title is Commonplace to World's Strongest. He's too OP. He brought out a freaking Gatling gun and just mowed down 60,000 monsters like it was nothing.
He didn't mow them all down with the Gatling gun.
You know what I mean? Like that was 90% of that battle. Let's be honest here.
Yeah, 90% of that entire episode was him just standing there with a Gatling gun. And then he jumps in the middle of them with a couple 6-shooters and starts taking a whole bunch of them out. And then jumps in and takes out the big guy. And I mean, like, I understand it's supposed to be getting set up for this dramatic experience. The ultimate goal is killing the teacher who's teaching them how to farm and cultivate rice.
That was the bad guy. The bad guy wanted to kill her. He wanted Hajime wanted to save her.
Right. But the reason why he was trying to kill her is because that's what the demon race wanted.
Yeah.
And they never explain why they exactly want her to. They just,
now I realize,
I mean, like, she's a farmer, like that's her job class is farmer. So she's teaching them how to farm and cultivate rice and everything like that.
Now I realize as a listener, that's probably a little confusing, but that's just as confusing when we watched it.
I mean, like, honestly, that's the whole episode right there.
Makes no sense. Like, there's no motivation behind it.
There really isn't. He just wants to prove that he's awesome and have people like him. So he joins the demon race and they want him to kill the teacher. So they go kill the teacher and they don't really tell why they want him to kill the teacher. And
or why they give up after just one failure.
Well, they I mean, like, who's to say they gave up? I mean, like, who knows? Maybe season 2, if it ever comes out, or if I decide to finish reading the manga.
Maybe. So we're leading up to like what I found to be the most awesome and amazing thing of the whole show.
Mayu.
Yeah, probably.
Mayu is a mer people, which is a protected demi-human in the world. And she calls Hajime Papa.
Yeah, it was.
And he totally embraces that like 3/4 into the episode where she's with him.
Yeah, it goes from a no, don't. Okay, fine.
And then to the final episode where he's like, that's right, Papa's going to go buy you some candy or whatever, blah, 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 blah. I mean, like, it's a rapid progression. And that's... Yeah. I mean, like, it's a great show, but that all, again, with it being the span of a 4-month period, it does rapid progression. So like between him, Hajime and Yue, rapid progression on how he feels about her. Between him and Shia, there's a lot of progression between how he feels about her. There's a lot of progression in terms of how he feels in Mayu in general as well. There's a lot of progression that ends up happening all the way throughout it in the span of 13 episodes. It's hard to really grasp the amount of time that goes by because he goes from like, hey, you know, I get you. We're on the same side. I feel you to I love you. You're my soulmate, Yue, to I hate you, bunny girl. Leave me alone. To I now will actually stroke your ears at night and I actually have deep-seated feelings for you and I respect you. And then the same thing for Mayu. Don't call me that, this and that. Just call me Hajime. Okay, fine. You can call me Big Brother. Okay, you can call me Papa. And it's like, that's some rapid progression all the way throughout.
I think what they were trying to represent was the fact that he was bringing them into his inner circle for protection and for both himself and for them.
Right.
As a mutually beneficial thing. Because as you said before, he doesn't do many one-sided deals where he's, handing shit out. Like he only ever does things typically only ever does things when he sees a benefit.
Right. And
so
this is where the real difference between Shield Hero and this come into play is the rapid progression and how fast he's able to start trusting the people in his quote unquote inner circle. Whereas in Shield Hero, it takes a lot longer and he's still very distrustful of everyone with the exception of his two most close companions, one who he literally raised from birth and the other one who was his slave. And he was able to. They
still are his slaves.
Technically, still are, but they're
hopefully
beyond
that's
the point.
For another
Day, another time. I can't wait for season 2 for that one as well. Both season 2s. I'm hoping for season 2 for this one. I can't wait for season 2 of Shield Hero.
Yeah, that's gonna be great.
But.
So in the very final episode, well, is it the final episode or the second to final episode where he has to go save his classmates?
They graze it on the second to final episode, and then he takes care of it in the final episode, where he fights the demon girl and
yeah.
The
lead up to that is after he saves the teacher, he somehow makes it back to like where. He saves the teacher.
Goes back to this town where this guild was, and he's gold ranked adventurers is what they call him still. Yeah. Because he did this one thing, and he goes to the next town, and the next town is where the actual opening of the labyrinth is. And one of his classmates, Kyosuke, comes in ninja. And sees him and is like, I thought you were dead. And then he snaps out of it. He's like, you got to help us. You got to help us because my friends, our classmates, everything like that. And Hajime, he's like, I don't care about them. What am I going to get out of this? It's like, why would I care? And everything like that. And so the guild basically makes it a request. And so that's the main reason why he goes down there. Now, one of the interesting thing is when he's at that guild, he shows his nameplate to them because he says, no, I know it's hard to believe, but it really is Hajime. But you don't see his current stats or his level or anything like that, which means if they do a season 2, I hope they show the stats so that we get a sense of how powerful he is.
Well, the thing that kind of annoyed me with this whole thing, I know we're going backtracking, but the thing that annoyed me was the fact that even though he was eating all these extra monsters, he never portrayed a larger, I guess, arsenal of attacks. He had the quick step, he had the skywalk, he had the electricity, which he kind of uses to fly and fire his gun. Like he uses a quick step to fly around with aerodynamics, and he uses the electricity to basically fire his gun off.
To help boost the power of it, as well as a couple other weapons. I mean, like I'm assuming he also uses the electricity for the vehicle that he summons as well.
He's eco-friendly.
Eco-friendly
Hummer. Oh, and a motorcycle. Could you imagine?
That'd be awesome.
Anyway.
Well, actually, I don't think the motorcycles ran by electricity because the bunny girl, she's able to ride it without him on there.
Oh, that's true. So it's ran by spirit.
Sure.
or is burning fossil fuels. There's dinos there too. So
yeah, but anyway, they're not extinct. They're very much alive and trying to eat everyone.
He's draining their mana into the gas tank. Oh, that'd be awesome. So yeah, he doesn't really show a larger range of attacks. Essentially,
he really doesn't.
I did like the fact that when he was close to death, he kind of like willed through, gained even more power, became faster, leveled up essentially.
Yeah.
But he did so on his own. Anyway, so he's going down the labyrinth, and kind of a flashback to episode 1. They make it to the 65th floor in record time, and he's like, oh, that behemoth, one shot, boom, he's gone. Yeah, he's no match for me.
Yeah, and Kyosuke actually points this out. He goes, he just one shot the behemoth. It's like, and it was a battle that they had just previously, probably several days prior, had barely won, but they were able to win because they were stronger. He's running through just like one shot and all these behemoths and all these other monsters like it's nothing. And then they get to a specific spot and he goes, oh yeah, no, this is a good spot. Pulls out this giant metal spear driver and creates this hole that goes down like 4 or 5 floors or something like that, basically.
Way more than that, because they were in the abyss at that point. they weren't, granted, they weren't level 100, but they were getting way closer than I'd feel like they should have been for their level.
Yeah. And well, they made the comment that they had been seeing that they hadn't been running into any monsters.
Yeah, and you find that's because somebody came through and killed them all right before they were there.
Yeah.
It's that set a trap, essentially.
Yeah, and so he ends up spearing the monsters that are about to kill a couple of his ex-classmates, so to speak. And he jumps down and he's like, yo, let's do this. Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone style, pulls out his 2.6 shooters. It's like, let's get this done.
And just owns. And then he looks at the demon and he goes, hey, you know, I don't know you. You're not my enemy. You don't want to be my enemy. If you walk away, I'll let you live. If you don't walk away, you're not going to walk away.
Yeah. And basically, and that's basically what he tells her too. And she thinks she has the upper hand, and everyone just sees his hand just kind of disappear, and he starts pulling out this monster that he's crushing with his hand. And he's like, yeah, bad move. And one of the things is everyone's like having a hard time fighting these monsters and everything like that. And Hajime, he's like, Yue, go protect them. Shio, go take care of those guys over there. Tio, you go take care of those guys over there with Mayu. I'll take care of everything else. And they just start owning like it's no one's business.
Yeah, they're like, he's like, hey, you go handle the defense. Now that actually kind of question right there. How the heck did the mermaid get so damn strong?
Well, the mermaid wasn't even fighting anything. She was just on the back of Tio, the dragon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's all she was. She was just like on there because she knows that Tio, being part dragon, she's gonna kick some butt and protect the mermaid Mayu.
Okay, so that makes a whole lot more sense.
But yeah, everyone's just like, the whole fight is basically everyone's like kind of stunned. And when they did injure the demon girl, she was able to heal really quick because she has this bird healer thing, I guess.
Yeah, I took it as a kind of phoenix, but like it's just it revived everyone else.
Yeah. Just not
itself.
Yeah. And he takes that out without her knowing it and he takes out a ton of other monsters and everything like that. And then he just starts working on her and then he kills her.
Well, no, what's crazy is she goes, I'm not going to talk. And he goes, yeah, that's okay. Boom. And the hero, this is where the hero came in. He's like, why'd you do that? And Hajime was like, you're just mad because you couldn't.
Which is true. I mean, like, and honestly, the hero's, the hero, because he wasn't strong enough to do it, because he didn't have the willpower to be able to do it, several of the friends ended up dying.
And he feels very responsible for that.
As well,
and he feels very weak. As well, he should, yeah. But could you imagine if he's already hit like level 80 and Hajime's only hit like level 50? And he's like, I've already owned you. You might as well just go home and sit down. It's okay.
Yeah, basically. But, you know, his overwhelming sense of duty and everything like that for the hero as well makes him angry at Hajime because he was able to do what he deemed a heartless action so cold-bloodedly and so effortlessly. Because when he was about to kill the demon girl, right, her locket came off and he saw that she actually had a husband. And that's what prevented him from doing that, because he couldn't take someone else's wife away. Hajime, he just don't care. He's her enemy. He will kill her. And he even tells that to the classmates too. He's like, you're not my classmates anymore. You're either with me or you're against me. And if you get in my way, I will kill you.
And the most badass part about that whole speech is he does it in front of the whole class. They're like, why are you so messed up? And he goes, one of you betrayed me. I'm going to find out who.
No, he says, one of you betrayed me, and I don't even care about who. He's like, my goal is to go home. He's like, I don't care about the rest of you anymore.
And the one kid you eventually figure it out as a viewer, you're like, dude, this is the guy that got him. And the reason this guy like took him out was because he was crushing on the girl who liked him. And the girl who liked him, or who liked Hajime, actually was just like, you know what? I'm going to go join your crew and I'm going to win you over. Yeah. You're mine and no one else's. And Yue's like, bitch, please. Yeah, I'll let you try, but you're not going to win. I'm going to let you try so that when you fail, you know exactly how higher I stand than you. Now that is a boss move.
Heck yeah. And that's basically how it ends. I mean, like, it ends with Hajime and his companions leaving, not the students, but The Yue, Shie, Mayu, Kaori, and Theo all leave. I mean, like, that's basically how it ends, with them leaving, continuing on their adventure. I mean, like, it would have been better. I feel like it would have been better, though.
Say it with me. Season 2.
Season 2. Season 2. Season 2. Okay. All right.
So overall, I think that pretty much wraps up the entire series rather well, if I can even say. But what do you think? How do you feel about this anime?
Well, on a scale of 0 to 10.
Yes, on a scale of 0 to 10, preferably. I mean, if you so chose, I would allow you to go. Oh, really?
I give it a 6.
Oh, I was going to let you choose up to 15 if you wanted.
No, but, no. I the reason why I give it a 6 is because it is good. The animation is solid. It does eventually have a story that you can follow. It just has a lot of plot holes. It has a lot of rapid progression, and it leaves a lot to be desired in terms of developing the plot even more.
Okay. Well, I mean, I was expecting like a 7 out of you, because I was going to say 8. Like, I prefer, I've seen it more than one time. I've seen the dub, which is hilarious. Like,
yeah, no,
don't get me wrong.
This is the second time I've seen it. I've seen it subbed and I've seen it dubbed. Both are good. Both of them are good.
Yeah. So I would have no problem rewatching it again. Granted, not right now, because I'm assuming you have another anime you'd like for me to watch.
I do.
Oh, okay.
I do. So, but what's your reasoning for the 8, sir?
My reasoning for the 8 was that it hooked me on episode 1. Seeing him lose an arm, going from a crybaby to eating the bear's arm. Like, he shot the bear's arm off and then stopped his attack, ate the arm in front of the bear to be like, bitch, you're my food now. And then he killed him. Like, that cold-blooded awesomeness got me hooked. And I was waiting for the next one. Granted, it took a little bit for the next one to show up, but it's something I could binge. It's not something I think I could wait a week for and keep my interest, but I could definitely binge it. So that's my reasoning for the 8. I'd watch it again, and I would recommend it to other people.
Yep, me too. Well, I have recommended it to other people.
Yeah. Oh man. So
it's my choice next week, and
what kind of hell are you gonna put me through? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know if you're gonna love it.
Was it Shield Hero?
No, actually, it's not. It's Golden Time. It's a comedy, drama, romance. It came out in 2013, and it ran 24 episodes.
So nothing like Shield Hero. Okay.
Exactly. Nothing like Shield Hero. From what I can see of it, though, from the looks of it, is it's a little bit different pace compared to the other drama romance ones and everything like that. Instead of it being high school students or in another world or something like that, it looks like it takes place with college students.
Oh, that's a new take. Typically, okay, that's interesting. Maybe with them being older, they might appeal to an older generation. Grandpa.
You're older than me. Old man.
Yeah.
All right.
With age comes wisdom.
Yeah, you keep telling yourself that, Sunshine.
I'm still waiting for it in the mail.
All right. Well, that's all the time we have for today. If you enjoyed this episode, if you have seen next week's choice, this week's choice, any of the previous choices, if you have a recommendation, please reach out to us if you feel like we missed something, or if you want to share some knowledge, feel free to do so. You can reach out to us via email at featuredanimepodcast@gmail.com. You can tweet at us at @thoseanimeguys. You can even join our Discord server. It is open to the public. Link is in the show notes, and you can also leave a voicemail. Link for that is also in the show notes. Until next time, I'm Jack.
I'm Rick, and we'll see you next time.